Inside Huntsville with Brenda Martin, a conversation with department heads at City Hall on streets, ball fields, public safety, and more. And also with our community partners that add economic security, support education, and enhance the city's quality of life.
Hello, I'm Brenda Martin, and welcome to Inside Huntsville. The American Heart Association is the nation's largest and oldest voluntary health organization dedicated to fighting heart disease and stroke. Unbeknownst to many, the association was founded by 6 cardiologists in 1924. The organization now includes more than 22 million volunteers and supporters. The nationwide organization includes 154 local offices and nearly 3,000 employees. One of those offices is located right here in the Tennessee Valley. Locally, they are gearing up for the Heart Walk to be held April 2nd of 2016. Here to talk with me about their mission, goals, and the Heart Walk campaign for our area is Stephanie Cline, who is the Heart Walk Director, and Jim Reeb, who is the CEO of PPT Solutions, who is the Heart Cheer Walk. Welcome to both of you. Thanks for being on our show.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for having us.
Well, first of all, why don't you tell us about the Heart Association and in terms of research, in terms of the education and advocacy.
Okay. Well, the Heart Association, obviously, our mission is to build healthier lives free of cardiovascular disease and stroke. One of the things that we have found that heart disease, 80% of it is preventable. So that is a lot of where our research and our education comes into play. Currently, we have over $4 million just in research studies alone going on in the state of Alabama. We focus a lot on, for instance, a heart stent was actually founded by the American Heart Association, a lot of your cholesterol inhibiting drugs, things of that nature. We also do a lot with education in hands-only CPR, and that's a huge thing for us this year. Hands-only CPR is basically, it takes no time at all for a person to learn, and it's just chest compressions. So it's for those people who are adults who maybe you're in a store and someone collapses. We want someone to be able to know how to take care of it until the paramedics arrive. So we're really focusing here in Huntsville this year on teaching a lot of hands-only CPR to our companies, our businesses, organizations as well, because it's even something that small children can do. You know, a younger child can still take care of that.
Geez, if I had thought about it, I would have probably asked you to bring the apparatus.
Right.
But can you explain that to us? How does that work?
Yes, ma'am. The CPR hands-only kit is actually, it's a box, and it's just a normal size box, and it actually includes one mini and it's a DVD.
Oh.
The purpose of that box really is for us to distribute them throughout the community. And it's something that, for instance, you here at Inside Huntsville, you guys could use, where you would take it home. You would watch that DVD with your family. You guys would practice together. Everyone would do it. And then you would actually bring it back, and someone else here could take it home. So it's one box trains hundreds and thousands of people. So we're very excited about those. And like I said, it's just a DVR. You stick it in the DVR and player, and it just plays away.
So this is something new.
It's fairly new. It's really something for Huntsville that's very new. We are focusing a lot on it this year, just because we've come to the conclusion, you know, that's one of the things that we can prevent. We can educate people. We can teach people to use CPR. One of the biggest things that kind of shocked me was 70% of all cardiac arrest happens at home.
No kidding.
So it's not somewhere where people are aware of what's going on and things like that. So we want people to be able to perform CPR.
I've been told that heart disease, in fact, is the #1 killer of Americans today.
It is.
That surprised me.
It's a surprising statistic for just about everyone. It kills more people than cancer. It's the #1 leading cause of death in all Americans, and then stroke, which is actually the #5 killer. And so we focus on both of those. Heart disease, I think, is just something that people don't think about. they don't think that they've had a heart attack, so they're considered that, that's something that is heart disease related. So that's where we've really been trying to bring some focus to that, because like I said, 80% of it's preventable. That means that 80% of those deaths are preventable.
Now, when you talk about preventable, what are some of the things that we can do to prevent?
Absolutely. Excuse me. Healthy eating.
Healthy eating.
Fruits, vegetables. Let's, get to know them really well. One of the other things is exercise.
Okay.
The American Heart Association recommends at least 30 minutes of exercise 5 days a week. So 150 minutes. They really want you to focus on more than that if possible, but we do encourage even small activities such as walking your dogs, playing with your kids outside, things of that nature, going to the park, taking everybody on a trail walk. Those are some things that can get people outside and get them active. I think that's one of the biggest things that we're seeing these days, trending wise, especially with young children. We're finding kids that are 12 years old that have the arteries of 40 and 50-year-old people because they don't eat well these days.
Jeez.
They don't exercise as much as they need to. They come home and they play video games.
Okay.
Get your kids outside, especially this summer. It's pretty, it's nice. Take them wherever, but make them actually go and do some physical activity.
Be active.
Yes,
Make
absolutely.
Sure, yes.
And it's fun. It's a great way to, get the entire family involved. So those are two things. Of course, then we have, smoking cessation, things of that nature.
Yes.
One of the things as far as our advocacy goes is Governor Bentley signed into effect a healthy food financing act just a few weeks ago. So that's going to put better nutritional foods in the places of people who are maybe live in a food desert, which is where they have a convenience store rather than a banana. So we're really working to try and get fruits and vegetables widespread across the state.
That's wonderful that he would, be so into that information that he would do that. That's great. That is great. Okay, the other thing that was surprising to me is that this is the number one killer of women.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk a little bit about Go Red.
Okay. Our Go Red is our movement for, like I said, for women, and really trying to we found that women are the matriarch of the household, and so they really do kind of make things how they run. So we found that if we can get to the women and we can get them to eat healthier, be active, that they usually can get their husbands to do the same. They can usually get their children to do the same. So it's really, we've always said we needed to go, if we gear it towards the woman, she's going to be the one that usually cooks. She's going to be the one that usually takes care of the household family, the events and the schedules of things that they do. So if we can get her involved, we can really get the entire family involved. And so that's one of the things that we focus on with Go Red is really just concentrating on women knowing their numbers. So if you haven't been to a doctor, you don't know your blood pressure, go get that checked. Just make sure that you always constantly know your numbers.
So that's your blood pressure. What else?
Your blood pressure, your cholesterol.
Cholesterol.
And your sugar intake.
Okay.
So if you can know those three things, that would be, that's something that we really want people to be aware of. And then also just to kind of know the signs of a heart attack. And
what are they?
Well, it varies with men and women. Of course, everybody has chest pain. A lot of people will say that women have more nauseated feeling and hot flashes. And so that's something that, women, we have a lot of anyways. And so really knowing the difference in your body is a big thing. We have Wear Red Day, which is the first Friday in February. The first Friday in February. And that's really geared towards everyone coming out wearing red, supporting women in heart disease, and really getting it acknowledged, I guess, because it is something that most people don't realize, that, especially with breast cancer being as large as it is, a lot of people don't realize that really it's heart disease that kill more women than anything else.
Yeah, most people think it's cancer.
Yes, ma'am.
Breast cancer at
Always.
that, But so that's great that you're on and you're sharing that information.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk more about the Get With the Guidelines, which is a hospital-based program.
Yes, ma'am. Our Get With the Guidelines program is done through our hospitals. The hospital itself has to actually submit to be implemented and to go into the plans with us. But what we do is we work with that hospital to make sure that they're providing the best possible patient care for whether it's cardiac arrest, whether it's heart attack, whether it's stroke. But we're really making sure that they have the most up-to-date technology, they have the most up-to-date training, and it's really for the patient more than the hospital, but it really does concentrate a lot on getting everything at the hospital into a tight ship, I guess you would say, so that we make sure that it's really taking effect, and when you get to the hospital, they know exactly what to do with you as a patient. They also make sure that your care is taken care of while you're there. And then when you are released, they make sure that you guys, that all patients have the at-home care that they need and the instruction that they need at that point.
And so do we have this both at Huntsville Hospital and Crestwood?
Yes, and we do have that here in Huntsville. You can actually check our website just to see the actual hospitals themselves. But yes, and we do actually have 3 in North Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So,
in fact, that brings me right to my next question, and that is, I went on your website and found it very, very informative. The website mylifecheck.org has a lot of detailed information on it about this dreadful disease. The area that I found most helpful is the section where you highlight the warning signs. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yes, so the warning signs that we have, like I mentioned earlier, we have the arm pain and things of that nature for an actual heart attack. But some of the things that we really want people to focus on this year are their sodium intake.
Sodium.
Sodium. So your sodium intake has a lot to do with kind of the health in the situation that you're in. Your sugar intake is another. So if we can get people to really concentrate on their sugar intake, and to really pay attention to their sodium intake, it's going to go a long way here, and especially in the South. You know, we all love our fried foods
and
we love our sweet tea. So we are really trying to push. You know, we are unfortunately the unhealthiest section of the country. And so we've got our work cut out for us here in the South. And Alabama being one of it, 40% of Alabamians have high blood pressure and they don't even know it.
My goodness.
42% of them have high cholesterol.
Oh my.
So that would be my biggest warning signs for people, is to really to start paying attention to your blood pressure.
Know your numbers,
exactly.
As you said.
You can pick up, one of your nearest drugstores or anything like that, you can pick up a blood pressure cuff.
Yes.
If that's something that you've been known to have high blood pressure, pick up one. They're not that very, they're not very expensive. Pick up one. You can check it right at home, and you can kind of start to monitor, if it's high, if it stays high on a normal basis. It may be something that you need to talk with your doctor about. And
also, some of the drugstores have it right there.
Absolutely. And we recommend that you can go in and just, go into your nearest drugstore, and you can do it right there. You don't have to purchase one.
You don't have to purchase one
right.
at all. Yeah. I am hoping that we can really get this information out to our public, because with those kinds of numbers, it's staggering. Mm-hmm. And as you said, it's preventable, and we can save lives if we just know our numbers.
Absolutely.
I think that will be our slogan. Know your numbers, know your numbers. Okay, I understand that we have an event coming up in our area. What can people do to get more involved?
Yes. Well, for one thing, we are always looking for volunteers. Like you said, the American Heart Association is a volunteer organization. Mm-hmm. We exist because we have wonderful volunteers. So we're always looking for volunteers in the area, whether it be to help with an event, whether it's to actually help us with lunch and learns, or CPR training. Mm-hmm. So when we talk about CPR hands only, we actually are looking for people who can go out to companies with us that can kind of administer, I guess, the training itself. It's not something that you have to have certification for, but it is something that we would go through a training class with you and teach you. But we're also looking for people who are, maybe you're a dietitian in town and you have free time. We would love to meet up with you to kind of talk about helping us with our lunch and learns. When we do healthy eating lunch and learns, we have companies that'll call and say, hey, we want to do a brown bag lunch, and we want you guys to come in and talk to our employees about what are the good things to eat, what are the bad things to eat.
That's great.
So we do several things like that throughout the community, and we're really focusing a lot on those this year. We have what we call our fit-friendly companies, who are kind of going through criteria and an application to become fit-friendly, and that's open to anybody in Huntsville. So if they're interested, they can definitely contact us, and we'll start working on it with them. But our event itself is the Heart Walk, and it is in April of 2016, and it will be at Big Spring Park. So we're very excited about moving it downtown to the heart of Huntsville. But one of the biggest things with the Heart Walk itself is that the event itself is free. So it's open to the public, free for anyone to come, day of event, you can just show up. The great things that we have there, we'll have areas where we have a CPR tent where we'll be teaching hands-only CPR. We have an area where people can learn about healthy eating. We have an area where people can learn about the walking paths in Huntsville, as well
great.
as, you know, things,
Yes.
places they can go and walk.
Right. Do things for free.
Right.
You don't have to always
Exactly.
spend money.
And that's kind of where we want to focus that on is, hey, these are not things that you have to purchase a gym membership to do, or these are things that you can get out in the community and you can do with your family, with yourself, with your friends, for free.
Yes.
And so, you know, we have those things at the Heart Walk. We also have information on National Eating Healthy Day. We have a National Walking Day as well.
Okay.
We'll have an area where you can get your blood pressure checked. So we'll have a health screenings area. And so we also have what we call our Lifestyle Change Award, which Jim's company is actually sponsoring this year.
Okay.
And what that is we're encouraging people to submit their nominations for, maybe they've quit smoking, maybe they've made a healthy lifestyle change and they've lost several pounds, maybe they, you know what, maybe they just committed to exercising every day. And they're doing that. And so we want those people to be recognized. And so what we can do is they actually can submit a kind of an application to us, or just a form basically, and we kind of have our board go through and decide, and we pick 3 winners. And so we're really excited about that. We want to make sure we're really talking to those people, getting to know them.
Yes.
And they're there on site the day of the event so that those people can then get to know them as well.
Okay. And talking about Jim and his company, Jim Reeb, a very, very busy CEO. He is president of PPT Solution, but yet you find time to get involved and become a staunch volunteer. Tell us why.
Well, I think you make time for the things that are important for you, and you find time to do those things that are important to you and your family. And so for me, that's my involvement has been dating back several years. I've been involved with the executive leadership team as a part of the Heart Walk in years past, and Stephanie and the American Heart Association asked me this year if I would be the chair for the event in April 2016, to which I agreed to do the chair role. So it's just it's an area that I'm very passionate about, and it's very important to me, and I think it's important to the community.
Now, is there a reason why this is such an important area for you, company to be involved in?
It is. On a personal note, I think if we look around us, we all know somebody that has had some heart issues or heart disease, or family members or friends, co-workers. And so for me personally, I actually had the experience recently where I was running around the house doing some things that you normally would do, and experienced some discomfort in my chest, and didn't think a whole lot about it. But you know, as we were talking about know your numbers, I went into my family doctor shortly thereafter, and long story made short, had discovered that I had a need for some stents. So it was actually, in my case, my numbers didn't even really indicate. I didn't have an issue with cholesterol, but I had a family history where heart disease was an issue in my family. But I was pretty athletic, and I had gotten to be a little bit overweight, and eating the wrong things over time, probably more sodium and more sugar and barbecue and things like that.
All the good stuff.
So anyway, that was my life-changing event, was having a couple stints, and it did change my lifestyle.
Okay. How long ago was that, Jim?
That was in February 14. So just a little bit over a year ago.
Yes.
And,
so you've made it an abrupt change.
An abrupt
in
change.
your life. How difficult was that?
Um,
There's so many people, we say, even myself, I go, well, but I really do like this. How difficult is it that for me to make this change?
I think you have to be motivated to make any kind of change, whatever your change is. And when you have the threat of death,
death
versus
yes. It's
for
real
me,
clear here, huh?
That's kind of the way I viewed it. So for me, it was pretty simple to say, okay, if I want to have a healthy lifestyle and I want to be around for the next 20, 30 years, whatever the case may be, then I need to make this change. And so for me, it was more simple maybe than someone that hasn't had any issues and just So it is difficult, but you have to be committed to it, and it's a day by day event to make sure you make the healthy choices.
Now, what can you do to encourage, or what can you say to encourage other CEOs to get their companies involved?
I think it's important that it's important for us as leaders in the community to be able to reach out to our employees and our staff, because we're really a giant extended family. And so our employees represent family members, and they have relations that with inside their sphere of influence. And so if we could be an influence to our employees and they can pass that on to their families, then we make the community a stronger, more healthy community.
More healthy area to live. And we've got to work hard at that. And as you say, leaders such as yourself, CEOs, anyone in a leadership position can make this effort.
Right, and I think too many of us, we often think, well, that we don't have an issue with that, or it's not important, or I'm young and I don't have to worry about that until I get over 60 years old. But you do have to worry about it, from little on up.
Sure.
Because
and interesting enough, as you say that. I've seen some young people that are extremely overweight. And so it's obvious that, we need to, as a community, to really put our arms around this and make the effort to share this good news.
So one of the things I would like to do this year for football season, when it comes up at the local high schools, at my local high school that I support, I'm going to offer to bring bananas and apples and oranges and set them at the concession stand, and have that as an alternate to the
potato chips
chili covered hot dog.
Yes. Cholesterol.
Yes.
Not saying that everything in moderation.
In moderation. It's not saying that you can't eat that, but eat more fruit. Right. Eat more vegetables, as you say. Great. My producer is telling me that time is winding down, but I do want to ask you, I've seen some of your material. Life is Why on them. Tell us about that.
So Life is Why has been out actually for just about, it's been out for the American Heart Association for about a year. To the general public, it's been out since probably November of last year. So what it is really is, it's really a focus on the American Heart Association got together and we said, what are we passionate? Why do we have passionate people? What can people wrap their hands around to become healthier? One of the things for our 2020 impact goal was really to reduce death by 20% in cardiovascular diseases, which we're doing great at because we have research and we have education. But one of the things that we're doing not so great at is the other 20% part, the other 2020 part, which was to reduce to improve the lives of all Americans by 20%. So improve that cardiovascular health by 20%. And we're not doing so great at that because that creates us to have to basically change people's behaviors. Like Jim was saying, it's not something that's easy to do. So people have to want to change their behaviors. So one of the things we're really asking everyone to say is, what is your why? Why do you want to change your behavior? Why do you want to support the American Heart Association? What makes you want to lead a better life? Is it your family? Is it just life in general? Is it your children? Is it, yourself? is, I mean, you know, is it a child that is affected by heart disease?
Sure.
Is it your family history? Because the family history does play a role in some things. And so some people want to be healthy because they have a bad family history of heart disease and stroke. And so they're really trying to change that. So that's really what it is. It's just, you know, what is your why? So, you know, for us, it can be anything for anybody. But it's really just a kind of way to really center yourself around what you're passionate about for it.
Yes. Know your numbers.
Know your numbers.
I love that. I love that. Okay, thanks to both of you for sharing this vital information to our viewers. You're definitely needed in this community, and we appreciate your effort. Jim, thank you for being the leader that you are in this most important area as well. Would you remind us about the time, the place of the Heart Walk?
Absolutely. We're going to be Big Spring Park East. It's going to be April the 2nd, 2016. So yes, it's a little like 9 months away, but we are actually getting started. We've got sponsorships and all of that type stuff going on now. So we don't stop just because it's almost a year out. So
yes.
we're going now. So April the 2nd, 2016, Big Spring Park East. Time will start 7:30. We will open the park to everyone. Like I said, it's a free event. If you guys want more information, you can contact me. My email is Stephanie, STEPHANIE.Cline, CLINE, @heart.org. And then you can actually reach me by phone at 205-510-1505. And that will ring straight to my cell phone.
Okay, and we'll have that put up on our screen so that our guests can get that information, because we want involvement. We want involvement next year, and of course you're working towards it now, and we hope to see 185,000 people out there.
That would be
Sounds
awesome.
wonderful.
Okay, I mean, because this information affects all of us,
Yes,
all of our families. So again, we thank you for being here,
Thank
and
you.
we thank you for joining us. Enjoy your day.